my grandmother and I could hold conversations entirely without ever opening our mouths. She called it shining.
The Shining, quite possibly the scariest and most well-made film of all time, came out to really bad reviews and actually got 2 Razzie nominations for Worst Director and Worst Actress. Of course, didn't win those because this film is actually very scary. This film screams Kubrick. It's all professionally made. It made a new technique, which was the Steadicam, which it didn't make, but it made very popular at the time. And this film did something different. It didn't follow the book. The book was just your standard ghost story, but the movie is something more. The movie was psychological horror, not just regular horror, but psychological. It would mess with your head. And as you can see by the miniseries made by Stephen King, this film did it way better. So when you go and read the book, when you look at this film, you might be disappointed because the film and the book are completely different things. And from the opening shot, you know you're going to be in a fun ride. To show you how creepy Jack Nicholson is in this movie, I just have to show you one scene, and that's around an hour and a half in, and it's when they go out to the hedge maze, and it cuts to Jack Nicholson doing this. I'm gonna have to talk about how well Jack Nicholson did in this movie. This movie would be nowhere near as scary as it is without him in it. He makes this film scary. This film is terrifying with him. He is believably going insane. I've never seen somebody act so insane on film. The only problem I have with his acting is that you don't believe he's normal at the beginning. I've always thought that Stanley Kubrick actually meant this by actually making it feel like he's a ticking time bomb who's slowly going insane. He's going to go crazy, but he's already crazy, but it just needs that one thing that breaks the camel's back. And throughout the entire film, it makes you fear for the other characters because you know he's going to try to kill them because he's insane, he's weird, he's creepy. And every scene he is in at the hotel makes you fearful. It makes you scared. And then there's the ending. By the end of the film, Jack has gone completely insane. And he starts saying one-liners, and they're kind of creepy, except for here's Johnny. But here's an example of one that always freaked me out when I was younger.
Wendy, I'm home.
And that shows how insane he has gone. He's joking in a situation where he's about to kill his family. And the entire situation is so scary because it's something that could actually happen except for the supernatural aspect. The whole father thing is really creepy, especially when he asked Danny to go on the bed with him in this scene.
Mommy and me, would ya?
What do you mean? Did your mother ever say that?
This scene really freaked me out when I first watched it because I thought he was about to attack Danny for no reason, and it scared me. It really scared me. But why? This film is from 1980. Most 80s movies aren't scary. It's because his acting and everybody else's acting will mess with your mind. Shelley Duvall was also really good because you could tell throughout the film she was breaking. And in real life she was also breaking because Stanley Kubrick treated her horrible to get her act like she's breaking. They had to redo the shot of them going up the stairs 127 times. But it came out as one of the scariest scenes of all time. Although Jack Nicholson I think was better in this film, I thought she did also an excellent job. And Scatman Carruthers also does an amazing job as well. He's the friendly guy. He's like the more fatherly figure to Danny than his own father is. And it shows that the nice characters don't always last because he's the only one to die in this film besides Jack. And that is why the acting in this film was so masterful, so well done. So, let's get on to the next part. While being more subtle, the cinematography also will mess with your mind. But instead of messing with it in a way that you can tell it's messing with you, it messes with you on a subconscious level. Stuff like the impossible window in the office, and the impossible layout of the hotel as Danny drives around it. And then there's other stuff that messes with you on a conscious level. And that would be stuff like the hedge maze scene, which I will show now. See, doesn't that mess with you? The reason that messes with you is because you know the hedge maze outside is real size, but he's looking at the mini maze, and it has them inside of it, so how does that work? And then it just makes you wonder, like, is he bigger? Like, what? It makes no sense, but it's a weird shot, and it messes with your mind. And then the whole Steadicam stuff messes with you in a different way because it makes you feel like you're going on the ride with him. And it's also creepier because it feels unnatural. And the funny thing is, everything in this film feels really unnatural. Everything just feels off. And that is thanks to the amazing directing by Stanley Kubrick. Almost all of his films are off, but this one is the weirdest when it comes to making you feel like everything's off. This film messes with you more on the subconscious level than it does on the conscious level. And that's what makes it so good, because you think about it afterwards and you're like, ugh, it's scary. Even though while you're watching it you feel fine, but afterwards it's just like, oh my gosh, so scary. And that's what makes it so great. Now let's go on to the next part. Another thing this movie did right was the music. The reason I say that is because Stanley Kubrick used classical music to create an atmosphere in a movie. And the reason I find that interesting is because the music was even made for it, but it blends so well with the movie. And here's an example of the music in this movie done completely correctly.
Hello? Anybody here?
See what I mean? It's so well done. But all the music is from the 1300s and the 1900s, so why does it blend so well? Because it's just good filmmaking. That's what makes it so good. And combined with how well the film is shot and how it's all well acted, the music just fits so well. An example of it being done right is this scene.
Stop swinging the bat. Put the bat down, Wendy.
Stop it!
Wendy, give me the bat.
Please!
Give me the bat.
Stop it!
Give me the bat. Stop swinging the bat.
Please stop!
Give me the bat.
Wendy!
Wendy, give me the bat. Give me the bat. Ah, God damn!
See what I mean by how well it's blended? Most movies aren't blended that well. So that's what makes this film so different, is because of how well the music is done. The music in this film always creates a lot of atmosphere. And to show the end of the video, I'm going to show the end of the movie because it shows how well music is done in this movie. And this is why The Shining is the scariest horror film of all time.
And you, midnight and a rendezvous. Your eyes held a message tender, saying I surrender.